Rem, you sound tired.
Hello.
I think I heard rum.
Grumble, grumble.
Rem is tired.
He sounds like a zombie. Are you okay, Rum?
I think he just needs some more rum.
Someone say something?
No, we were asking how you were.
I said you needed more rum.
I don't think he can hear us. Yeah.
Why did it reset the whole fucking thing?
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. How about now? No, never mind. That's Perrin.
Psych! Hi, Perrin.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I just burnt my mouth.
Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, Rum's having a little bit of issue with his mic issue.
Ah,
No. He's having issues with hearing us, not speaking.
weird. Once in a while, I'll have somebody that will have that happen.
You know how to fix it?
Usually, it's either when it happened to me, the microphone which detaches from my headset was just a little loose. It took me like 5 minutes to figure it out though, and then
Can you
other
hear us
times
now,
I
Rum?
just going back out, come back in.
I
Where's
still
the
can't
Rum?
hear anyone.
I can hear you.
And it's just Discord.
I think if we had to go on to the actual Roll20 chat, we could do that as well.
So, Perrin, how is the Starfinder campaign?
I haven't played a game yet, but they've got like 8 GMs. Although there seems to be one that's like a major one anyway, and there's lots of people joining. They're very as much, probably more than Backwater. They're very squared away with the details of what you need to have on your sheet, and I had to do it 3 times before it was all corrected. But everybody's really cool, and I'm excited about playing the first game. Hopefully, sometime this week.
What time zones are there games in?
They've been listing Eastern Standard Time, but I'm not sure what other times. Every game seems to be. I'm looking at like previous posts because they're really new. They're established, but it's only been like a month or 2 maybe that they've been doing games, and they are they do games for like 3 hours, and I see some are like 6 to 9. There was one that was like 2 to 5 in the afternoon Eastern time.
That might be okay for me.
Yeah, and some of them they list Central or other times as well.
Yeah,
but
because
most
the primary issue I'm running into at the moment, and it's kind of bleeding over into this campaign as well, is that like my optimal playing time has like switched to like 5 hours, no, 6 hours from now, and that's like in the middle of the night for you guys.
Literally midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we just did like a 1 hour game, I could probably do that, but even that's pretty rough.
No, yeah, I wouldn't impose that on you guys. That's just an issue that I'm running into. It's fine. But yeah, which is the main reason why, like, I really want to get into a Starfighter game, but at the same time, yeah, time zones, man. Like you
Well, that's
said,
why I figured if we took a break or whatever at some point, I was gonna try this out just to see how it is. And there's a lot more people playing. It seems like potentially there would be anyway. So
is it similar to Backwater where it's kind of like just a collection of like one shots with reoccurring characters, or is it like actual short arcs?
so far I've seen a lot of one shots, and the one that was taking place this weekend was a two session arc. But they tend to, like, it seems, take other people on just in case people can't make it.
Okay.
But still, it's pretty early for me so far to figure it out. And the one that they had, they do audio, but the one that they did apparently was, I guess, text. They're not all like that, but some of them are. I've never done that. It's kind of weird to me, but
I've played by text before, but that was ages ago.
If you look at the rules, it screams a lot of Backwater.
I did text in the early '90s when online games were first
Yeah.
put out. We went mudding, I think.
Oh my god, Mud.
With John Hopkins University had, amongst other universities, like a website, and it was all, there was no pictures, there was no nothing. It was just all text and some randomizer, like, roller things.
All right, Rum, you can hear us?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath that Seraphina is going to show up, so I guess we'll get started. So where we had left off previously last time, does anyone remember? I seem to recall you guys like kind of doing the old Splinter Cell, like sniping a guard and then like dragging his corpse away or something. And then you guys came upon the outskirts of the camp and looked into it and saw.
I think we were just watching them, and the steam dragoons were going in.
Yeah, and then after a bit of consultation, the steam dragoons and the soldiers accompanying them, Sergeant Pippin told you guys that they could probably handle that pretty easily on their own, considering they have the element of surprise, and they only seem to be like at upwards, maybe at most a dozen Goliaths. Whereas before, when you guys were attacked at the way station, that was by a large band of Goliaths, probably numbering, there was more than 40 of them, if I recall. And you guys seem to hold your own fairly well. So yeah, if you guys volunteer to let them, since this is kind of like, this is what they were, well, not really being hired for, but this is kind of their job description. They were to clear the way for you guys to get to the summit. And so if you guys are okay with them making the assault, it's up to you if you want to assist, but
I'll wait and see if they seem like they're in trouble, because I like to reserve resources.
Okay.
And I was going to say there, if they had any runners heading in our direction, I'll take them out.
All right. So the battle, you see the steam dragoons. The two that are with you settle down a bit behind low outcroppings of rocks that stick out of like one's like sticking out of the side of a bluff, the other one's sticking out of the ground. Their machinery and their the steam vents and stuff quiet down for a moment, and it almost seems like they've shut down, and they hide from sight from this camp. As for the soldiers, they split out into two flanks, one going left and one going right, and they sneak their way closer to the camp. And then let me make a roll. Okay, so the Goliaths in line of sight and view from you guys, they appear to be facing inwards in the camp, and you can see what clearly is some sort of a foreman or like a leader type person, whip in hand, shouting at people further into the camp. Can't quite see what they are though, just because of the angle. The soldiers closer to the camp on the two flanks, the left and right flank, make hand gestures back towards Sergeant Pippin and the other steam dragoon, who are kind of just looking around these outcroppings that they're taking cover behind. And are you guys somewhere nearby, or are you hanging further back?
I would hang. Well, I'd stay with the group, but preferably I'd hang further back and let the owl kind of keep an eye out for me.
Okay.
I was
the difference, right? The difference between the two is that if you were to hang further back, you would be in no danger of being spotted, so you don't have to roll a stealth check. But at the same time, I'm going to say that you're at long range. Like, the only person that could probably assist in the combat would probably be Obadiah with his rifle.
Yep, and I'm laying down exactly where I shot the other dude.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd say you'd be making it shots at disadvantage if you were to decide to join in the festivities, let's call it.
Well, I do have sharpshooter.
Oh, right. Well, I would normally wouldn't allow you to make the shots at this range. But I'm just saying that, like, this is beyond the second range.
Okay. That's fine.
Actually, no. Let me look it up. What is the second range increment?
600 feet.
Yeah. This is beyond 600 feet. So you can be closer to where the two steam dragoons have hunkered down. I'd say that's about like 300 feet out from the camp.
No, I'm just saying here, if there's anyone running away towards us,
Okay.
I'll take him out. If not, these guys can handle it.
All right. So it's only a bit further until the two flanks get close to the camp that they're finally spotted. I mean, they literally almost get right up to the perimeter of the camp. And immediately they begin to fire as sporadic not gunfire, like spears and crossbow bolts and arrows are slung in return. And soon the battle is joined, clashing. It immediately seems to be going well. And as soon as the festivities erupt, the gig is up. The steam dragoons bound out from over their cover and start running down the field at pretty fast speeds, almost like a short burst of speed, faster than you would think such large objects could move. I would like at this point for each of you to describe what your character is doing. So I know Obadiah is kind of like looking over, surveying the battle through the sights of his rifle. What are the rest of you doing?
Are there any like croppings of boulders or something over here?
Sure. Yeah. I think you can find something.
Thalia's just resting up against one.
Okay.
She spent a lot of magic points recently, so she's just resting.
Okay. What is
While she's watching
you're looking through your L, right?
Periodically, just actually no, I'm not looking through the owl. I'm letting him let me know how the battle's going telepathetically, and just in general, like, are we winning? Are our guys winning or losing? And in the and in the meantime, I'm going to ritually cast Skywrite, and let me think about what it's gonna say while I ritually cast it.
Okay, then what's Brophy doing?
He's probably just going to sit on the rock above Thalia and eat a sandwich and just watch the battle, making commentary.
Love it.
All right. In which case, Thalia, could you roll me a perception check? And can Ralph roll me a perception check?
Okay.
I gotta open up my page. Give me a moment.
Actually, I'll let Brophy roll a perception check as well. That's fine. You're not otherwise occupied.
I can already tell it's going to be a great night for rolls.
Do you have advantage?
Does it have advantage? It has advantage on sight, right?
Well, yeah, if it relates to sight.
Okay.
Or hearing.
Hearing. Okay. Ralphie, turns your attention as to what you said telepathetically.
I giggled. I wasn't going to call him out though.
He turns your attention back down the direction that you came from, with a sensation of like something has caught his attention coming from a direction that you guys came from, as well as a general query.
So Milo would say to the group, "Hey, put your sandwiches down. Something's coming this way. I'm going to check it out." And then he would go into and look through his eyes, Ralph's
Okay.
eyes.
So it's not so much the eyes. Can you? So when you possess the owl's persona, the senses, can you possess all of the senses, like, or can you just see through the owl's eyes?
I think it's all the senses. I'm going to double check.
Just post the spell back up.
It's the find familiar spell, right? I can look it up.
Yeah, it's I can hear and I can see because I am deaf and blind in regard to my
Okay.
own senses.
Okay, so what happens is when you take over your so they make the same joke on never mind, that's off topic. I was gonna say they make the same joke that on the C team on Penny Arcade, that when you take over the owl's senses, the owl takes over your senses.
It smells a sandwich.
But no. So
It's an amazing concept, though.
there's a short skit. Shit. I don't want to get distracted, but it's a legitimately funny skit. I'll see if I can find it for you guys. But so your owl turns you take over your owl's vision and you look back down the direction that you came from, and it's not so much your owl doesn't see anything, nothing suspicious, but you hear through your owl's ears the battle that's raging, that's being engaged beneath, the sound of gunfire, and you can hear through the surrounding islands that are floating around the echoing sounds of the gunpowder weapons echoing off these distant floating peaks back at you. but every occasion now and then, you hear a sporadic number of echoes coming from the way station island, 3 islands down from where you guys are at. And the echoes are out of sync with the gunfire that's going on beneath, that's going on currently beneath your owl.
Echoes. So I'm trying to figure out what those echoes might be. Could they be something large coming our way? It's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, or if it's something that's further, like another battle that's just further away that hasn't got to us yet.
If you'd like, you can roll me an insight check.
All right. And this is weird, so I guess I should roll with Ralph. I'm looking through his eyes. I wonder if they don't state it that I'm aware of, but I wonder if I'm looking through his eyes if I lose advantage on the perception checks.
You're using his senses, so you shouldn't.
Yeah. And then, but I should be using my...
Yeah, I think you'd still be using your intellect, so just use your roll.
Yeah, I'd treat it like a druid shapeshift. You use your mental stats, but they're physical stats.
Got it. Hold on 1 second. Probably should have rolled his. There we go.
You've got advantage, right? 11 and 11.
I do. I have advantage. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing on that.
So you know, I think it's difficult to tell because it sounds. It's not just that island that you're hearing reports coming from. You're hearing reports coming from islands, basically in all directions. But it just, your owl thinks that there's something weird about the reports coming from that direction. Like I said, it thinks it's out of sync with So like occasionally there'll be echoes coming from that direction. But
would I know how far away that is, approximately?
I'd say it's a couple of miles. How far is a mile?
It's like 3,000 feet.
It is exactly 1 mile.
Feet. It's true. If you measure that in miles, it's 1 mile. I thought it was like 3,100 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was like some weird ass like.
It is an arbitrary random number. It's slightly over 3,000 feet.
It is 1,609.344 meters.
Which is 5,280 feet.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was a lot more than I thought. Wow, that's far.
Don't feel bad. I thought it
Let's
was
say
too.
that it's just over a mile.
Oh, well, then I can see it as if it's like 100 feet in front of me. Plus, I can use my my spyglass and see like 2 miles like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the group know what's going. I think I already did, but I'm gonna let them know my owl will not be able to get to it and investigate. It's too far.
All right, so when you looked in that direction, you see signs of activity inside the way station. You can kind of see it from here because you're at a higher vantage point. You probably have to move around a bit, like get to the edge of the bluff, edge of the island, just to look down at the right angle. You see signs of activity down at there, but it's not clear because it's over a mile. But when you train your spyglass upon it, your stolen spyglass, appropriated, borrowed, you see that the way station itself is under attack. The 4 soldiers there in the steam dragoon are currently up on the battlements in the broken sheared-off tower. And the tower itself is being assaulted by what appears to be about... it's difficult to count in the melee because they're hiding behind cover and ducking from rubble to rubble. But there's like one of those rock monsters that almost pasted you before, and about probably like a dozen Goliath-looking people.
I'll be like, guys, and then start doing play-by-plays of that battle.
What is of more concern to you, however? Could you roll me a perception check? And I will give you advantage. Okay. What is of more concern to you is that you guys landed upon the way station island, right? There are several number more islands down below the way station island, like 4 or 5. And then down past that, there is a large, almost like a tectonic plate. And I'll draw this from side-on view. So if you had some sort of like a plate, and say this is the ground, and then the plate kind of like something landed on it from this side, and this end broke, and then the entire plate like shifted up like this. You understand what I'm saying? Leading up to the first chain of the island.
Basically, like something floating in water. You put weight in one and the other, and it's going to tilt up.
And the rest of the crater, goes down like that. You see marching up this ramp, and I'm talking about this is like 3 or 4 miles away. So even from here, even if you're spyglass, you can't make out very good details from it. But you see what clearly, even from the blurriness and the lack of detail, is probably a company of some kind of soldiers. You're not sure if they're humans, you're not sure if they're Goliaths, but there's at least 100 of them.
Do we know if the steam dragoons have some type of like long-range communications, like a radio or something?
I think you've seen Sergeant Pippin use sending stones with the ship.
Okay, at that, Brophy is just going to be like, kind of like a Jackie Chan bad day thing, but he's going to be like, not good, not good. And he's going to just take out running towards where he last saw the sergeant. And he's going to try to find him and be like, you need to evacuate your men this way. And he's going to give a brief explanation as to why.
Okay. Unfortunately for you, Sergeant Pippin is currently occupied. Him and the other steam dragoon have joined the fray. So unless you want to like run down there and wade into the fight itself.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, you run down there, but it's like I said, it's over 600 feet away. So by the time you get down there, actually, the fight is over. And you're the first one to see what the hand signals was about. Inside the camp, bunch of dead Goliaths slung over barricades. One has fallen backwards through like a window in like a thatched yurt. Yes, I remember this time.
Yurt.
Yeah, fallen backwards through the opening of the thatched yurt, and kind of like taking cover / cowering / just kind of in general in not very good condition is about 4 humans, a dwarf, and an elf, shackled by the hands and by the ankles, with various implements of digging, shovels and pickaxes strewn about them. Looked like they had been interrupted in the midst of breaking a squarish chunk of rock from one of the bluffs. And there's clear signs of these rocks being put on like rolling contraptions and rolled off to the direction of the upwards towards the next island on the chain.
as soon as I get within hearing distance, I'm gonna like start waving my arms and being like, Pepin, Pepin!
Yeah. He turns and he says he calls out, "What's wrong? Where are the others?"
They're behind. You need to get your men out of there. They're attacking many, many people. Bad. And he's probably out of breath at this point because
Okay.
he's short.
He makes a few hand gestures to the other steam dragoon, and who nods affirmative, and then heads into the camp to speak with the other steam dragoon. Heads into the camp to oversee the prisoners, and he offers to pick you up and starts to kind of like not as fast as when he started the combat. You suspect that was like a short duration thing, but start to lope it his way back up the slope towards you guys.
He's gonna act like a little kid that gets his first piggyback ride, like kicking and saying faster.
So the others of you who are gazing back down at the thing, yeah, it's difficult to tell what he saw. You'll require spyglasses to make out the army that's walking up the ramp. But yeah, when Pippin gets back up to you, you three, plus bringing along Brophy, you point out what it is he should be looking at, and he kind of like peers as hard as he can. I'll make a... Oh, wow, okay. So, well, it's still not actually very high, but he says, "Now I see what you mean. I can't see what they are, but I can see the dust plume. There's a certain tell about an army on the move. They raise like a dust plume that's distinct like no other, but I can't tell whose side they're on. We do have various we do have various treaties with some of the Goliath bands that should our outpost come under attack, that they would move to assist us. But to be honest, High Command never really expected them to honor that part of the agreements. It was more of a, I'm not a legal person, pro forma, I think they call it. Now they could be some of those friendly Goliaths, but I guess I wouldn't bet my men's life on it. How do you think we should approach this? I don't think me and my lads can stop an army.
Do they have any more explosives enough to destroy an island?
Not enough to destroy an island, but we could probably, if we find one of these crossings that link from an island to another island, I think with enough sufficient application of violence, we could probably destroy one of these linkages. But that's not going to be permanent. With an army that size, they could probably jerry-rig something in short enough order.
It'd still give us more time to escape if we need to.
Well, the thing is that we only have one direction to go, up. They only have one direction to go, up. However, if we get there first, we have the Guardian on our side.
Well, let's hope this Guardian is capable of defeating an army. We could slow them down, but...
How could we... I don't know Giant, and but perhaps I could write something amongst the clouds.
Yes, by this time I think you'd just be finishing your ritual, so what? I think you have a moment before you complete your ritual to decide what you want to write.
Yeah, would any of the dragoons or anybody know Giant enough to like etch it in the dirt?
Thalia does.
And try to replicate it. Oh yeah, that's right. You speak that. We just got to figure out what we'd want to ask. And We have no way of getting a response.
Pran, this would be the perfect time for the one phrase that Lindor knows in Giant to be put up in the sky.
That would befuddle them.
I still go for it. Just need someone to put on a robe and someone to sing "Goodbye Horses."
Pippin, Pippin asks you, whatever message you send, could you add these three letters and this number somewhere in the phrase? And he reaches down with one steely finger, oversized, and draws a large, it's probably like RGS7 or something like that. That doesn't really matter what it is. But he says this will give the message to the lads down at the way station that they should withdraw up here in this direction and abandon the way station.
So the message be something like
that's...
army coming from down below?
No, it's simply an order for them to tell them that it's not imperative that they hold the way station. That they should regroup with the group.
Oh, okay, but the main message.
Oh, who are you trying to communicate this?
Well, it depends on what the group wants to do, because I can only do up to 10 words.
I would consider that addendum one word.
Okay.
Even though it's a gibberish word and it contains numbers.
I could put something for both, perhaps. Both would see it. Was there a name to the treaty?
He shakes his head and he says, like I that's above my pay grade. I just know that there is a treaty. It was negotiated long before my time, like 100 years ago.
I could say, honor the treaty. Send us a sign, and then put the thing that you just gave me for the other guys.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be like a secret mission? Like, would it be okay if we like put in the name of King or Queen so-and-so? That would kind of like help identify us and the treaty, I think.
In the name of Empress the Royal?
Yes, that works.
I don't even think you need to add the royal, like, in the name of the Empress is simply enough. Everyone knows what Empress you're talking about. How many... I've never enjoyed word limitations. Unless it's something absurd, like you say, like, 40-something words. You write an entire poem.
I'm sorry to bother you, but if you would please wouldn't mind if we could use some assistance down below. In the name of the Empress, Queen,
Sergeant Pippin says, I've only got a couple of more charges left on my sending stone. And unlike the magical sending stones that some magisters have, these don't regenerate. And he says, I could contact the vessel, the ship. That army looks like it's low enough that the ship could possibly harass them for a while. But once the army starts climbing higher...
They would also be able to identify what the army is, too, at that point.
Yes, this is true. But we have a conundrum. If the ship could probably, at this altitude, come up high enough to pick us up if we wish to evacuate. But if we head up further higher up the chain, the altitude will be too high for the ship to get up that high. So, not that I'm recommending. I'm just pointing out that if we wanted to not get trapped up this route by this army, this is basically our last chance to evacuate.
But also, if we evacuate and they go further, then we have to deal with them either way. Right now, we're ahead of them, so.
Yes.
Well, we can continue ahead of them. If they are friendly, there's nothing to lose. But if we stay here and attempt to fight them, there is something to lose. I don't know how much there is to gain by staying here.
I say send the ship in to harass them. Send our message off, whatever the message is, and we continue up going higher.
He says, he nods and he says, if it's okay, I would like to call the ship in to evacuate at least the wounded, some of my wounded lads, and probably some of the prisoners that we just rescued.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. But we have to beat the army up there, so we will move faster than they will, so we have time to spare.
All right. So as you guys, gather your things and start preparing to, you head down to the camp where the prisoners are at, and you see the prisoners, very thankfully thanking some of the soldiers and steam dragoons, and you overhear basically the gist of the conversation that the Goliaths had captured them from these were some of the staff at the way station, and they were using them as kind of like forced labor to basically break off chunks of slabs of rock, and they were building an improvised bridge across one of the gaps between two of the islands, which hadn't quite lined up yet, further up the chain. And that, they're very grateful for being rescued and blah, blah, blah. And the elf is kind of the only one who's not grateful. The elf is like, essentially, what took you so long, and like, etc. Not very grateful.
Male elf or female elf?
Male elf, very haughty.
What a jerk.
We didn't have to save you.
One last thing with that Skyride, because I hate to just ritually cast it and not do anything with it.
Okay.
But in Giant, to say something like send them off in the wrong direction, like back down, battle below, need assistance now, something like that, and maybe there's a chance that they will go.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll roll. How about you roll me a percentile die?
Okay.
All right. So it's not before long that even from this distance, you guys can hear it. You guys hear the telltale sounds of the airship's main battery opening up on this army. And there's some kind of an exchange, and you hear more than see the crackle pops of some sort of spell being flung at the ship. But the ship doesn't hang around too long to necessarily endanger itself. It simply makes a one or two passes over the army, unleashing, I believe the technical term is the rocker on them, and then proceeding to climb up towards your direction. At some point, when they reach past the way station, they momentarily skim close to the ground, and they appear to pick up the team that had been breaking away and heading back up the chain towards you guys. Brophy, you can see through your spyglass that like the steam dragoon is covering the retreat, while two soldiers carry a third, and the fourth one is kind of hanging by one of the steam dragoons. So hanging from the steam dragoon's left gauntleted fist. Just kind of got him in carrying him by the back of the shirt, back of the pack rather. Something like that. Except that's the AC-130's chaff going off. It's not actually dropping bombs.
I know.
But never mind. Um, uh, and the ship makes one pass, and you can tell that there's no sails going, there's no blisters up. It's sailing purely by magical propulsion at the moment, and you can tell that it's not doing well. In fact, the soldiers chivvy the civilians, the prisoners rather, and the wounded, one or two wounded soldiers who got wounded in the fight to free them, up at a specific point on a bluff. The ship comes close to the side of the island, with one of its side cargo holds open, and basically straight up crashes into the island side on. Although it's not really like a car crash into the island, but more like a gentle, a rough nudge. And as they do so, the people scramble to get aboard before the ship starts to drift away from the edge of the island. And then immediately, as if losing buoyancy or propulsion, the ship begins to drop down beneath the island and falling towards a lower altitude. It is at this point your Skywrite message has been up there for I'd say about 10 minutes, and you guys are kind of like hustling to set up further upwards towards the direction that the tracks of the stones, the mined and sheared off stones were being pushed up towards, further up the island chain. That Milo, you feel a pulse of magic wash past you, emanating from the direction of down below towards the way station. And this pulse of magic is accompanied by an increase in wind. The wind before was just like moderate, I'd say, and begins to within the space of a minute, it grows from a strong wind to almost a gale. And above you see like clouds and just like a roiling blast of wind just tear your Skywrite asunder, blowing in every which directions.
Son of a bitch.
And then a few moments later, the temperature begins to drop from like a cool temperature to cold, like blistering cold. And the clouds overhead begin to mirror the maelstrom beneath, except the clouds above are clearly some sort of like precipitation. Isn't raining yet, but it looks like it is about to storm.
That's only going to hamper their army, while we're not going to be hampered that much at all. So I think we're okay.
Is it like a Charlie Brown storm where it just rains above one person? like very confined.
Well, maybe it's clearly magic. Like whatever is happening, it's clearly magic. In fact, roll me an Arcana check. Okay. Yeah, you recognize this as a powerful transmutation spell, but you're not entirely sure what its purpose is, except probably to create the storm. Maybe to alter the weather.
And I say to the group, oh, it's magic. About the storm.
Boo that man.
Brophy groans.
Yeah. In fact, Brophy, you're quite correct. It's immediately obvious that the ship is having some issue in the weather, and the ship begins to retreat back the way it came from, dropping to a lower altitude before making its way past the crater rim and back towards, quote unquote safety. I assume you guys pass on to over the pass onto the next island above.
Yeah, I think retreat's the name of the game right now.
Yeah, so Sergeant Pippin is in agreement, and he nods and he says, "Yes, I think we should probably make haste. That army isn't going to take too long before it gets here." All
I
right,
agree.
so I'm going to make a couple of rolls. All right. It's actually fortunate for you guys because low is good in this case. What was that?
I don't know.
I think it
Was
was
that a
that.
Seraphina?
That's a Seraphina.
Yep.
The airship drops off Seraphina.
I mean, it's good timing.
You're a
Welcome back.
poof in the distance, and then you see the retort of a cannon firing. But it's not a round of anything you know of. And as it sails, you see the ammo slowly flips and turns into a human. And it lands right with the rest of us. Welcome back, Seraphina.
Can she hear us? Because I haven't heard her say a single thing.
I think that she said that she could just listen in.
Oh, did she?
I think so.
Never mind, the cannon missed. She goes flying over the edge and falls
It's
into
right
the
into the lava water.
No, I'm just kidding. No, so yeah, you guys beat haste up the further up the trail. You encounter small, I wouldn't call them outposts. Small, similar to the watchtower that you ran into before when you were headed down towards the misshapen Maelstrom Island. Just like a simple crude platform, almost like a hunting blind that hunters use modern days to hunt deer. And yeah, every single time there were 2 or 3 Goliaths on there, and they were quite easily handled by both combination of Sharpies and the soldiers. And it is not long before maybe she's having mic problems.
Yep, she just dropped off.
Maybe she's having the same issue I did.
Yeah, maybe she's having mic problems.
Because I think what caused my issue was Windows updated.
Ah. How did you fix it though?
I just did what you said. I went to the settings. Oh,
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm going to quick bio.
Okay. How about we take this moment to take a quick bio and get a drink and see if Seraphina can fix her mic in the meantime.
Sounds good.
Okay.
As much as I love being like cannon ammo, I'm only going to be able to listen in today.
I figured that's what you said earlier.
I can at least finally talk, and I don't sound like one of Marge's sisters from The Simpsons, so it's a good thing.
All right. Let me know when everyone is back. And was that a Serafina that I heard?
Yeah, she's just listening in. She can't be cannon fodder today.
Okay. I don't think that's the technical term of a cannon fodder.
It works either way.
I mean, I'm probably low enough level to die, so cannon fodder would be applicable in both places, I think.
We haven't leveled up yet, so...
Indeed. Well, you have, like 4 sessions ago. You should be level 7, right?
Yeah.
I think last time Serafina was in game, you were level 5?
Yeah, and I died just like, I was dying in real life. Couldn't play.
How's your situation at the moment?
My work schedule's still crap, but I'm not suffering from this chronic sinus infection I've been fighting for like the past 4 months.
Oh, God. Did it just go away on its own, or did you get like antibiotics or something?
I've been taking antibiotics, but like the sinus infections come and go. So like for a couple weeks I'll be okay, and then I'm like at the point where I can't breathe or talk or anything.
Ah. Do you know what's the cause of it?
No, we're still trying to figure that out, but like I'm just happy I can talk like a normal human being right now.
Is Rum back?
Don't think so. Robin's torturing her poor cat. She's the type of cat that likes attention so much that she'll lay on you, and then you can just do literally whatever you want to the cat, and she'll just lay there going, "Meh, meh."
Like, I literally spent the whole break just giving her a very rough massage, and she's here, leave me alone. And she'll just continue being a grouchy old lady. She won't bite or hiss or anything.
So what you're saying is that your cat's a masochist.
Probably.
I could hear it. Right, we'll give Rum a couple of more moments, and we'll just keep going. It's fine if he misses a couple of moments. This actually gives me a good time to do something. So, give me 1 moment while we wait for Rum to come back. I'll build a map.
I'm back.
You came back to hear that.
Didn't hear anything.
The cat was summoning Rum.
No, my cats were yelling at me. They understand the word treat, but when it's attached to the we're at treats till tomorrow, all they hear is treat.
Alright, so you guys push further up onto the island chain, and you get within about 2 or 3 hours of pushing, you get higher and higher and higher altitude, deeper into this this magical storm that's gathering from above. The wind builds from a strong wind to let's just call it a gale, and sleet starts hitting you from like the side. Like the winds are so fast that the rain, and it's so cold that the rain is freezing before it even manages. It's hail. It's hail flying sideways in gale storm winds. As you guys are crossing these precarious, like some of these are just simply two islands mashed together at points. Some of these are rickety wooden bridges that have seen better days. Some are actually fairly solid constructions of chain anchored to like hard, solid marble or obsidian or some type of stone. But I would like for everyone to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Even if I'm using Pippin as a wind block?
Yes, even if you're using Pippin as a wind block.
Trust me, it's hard to move me.
Wow.
Oh god.
That makes perfect sense if you think about it.
Rip Milo.
Okay, so the soldiers have a couple of mishaps, but none of them are major or fatal. I think at one point one of them goes falling off the bridge, but luckily they had taken the precautions of only one person crossing at a time and being tied to it by a rope, so they were easily enough rescued. Milo, you are having a rough time of it. The wind is biting. Every inch of exposed skin is bruised from the constant pelting of these tiny little hailstones. You can barely see where you're going. The others seem to be faring okay, but I think I'm not gonna cause you damage. But I think you're now currently suffering 1 point of exhaustion. As you glance upwards and estimate the distance that you saw before from the summit and the chains of islands leading up to it, you figure that you're judging from where you started from the way station, you're a little bit over halfway, probably 2/3, and you've run into no more of the little hunting blinds. It is possible that you simply might have just walked past some of them. The sleet is coming down fairly heavily that it's heavily obscuring anything beyond like 60 feet. You turn back and look down the slope, and you cannot see, like you can barely see the island behind you, let alone all the way down to check on the progress of the army. Do you guys just continue to push on, or do you want to like stop to take any extra precautions? Attempt to. You don't have to make a check for Ralph. I assume at some point you would have dismissed Ralph back to his pocket dimension, native. I don't know the mechanics of which before he like got murdered.
He was hailed to death.
I think Brophy is going to take the time, since he's still riding on the armor, to try to spot any good points for like traps, and then if he sees any, he's gonna like hop down real quick and like just make a rudimentary trap. He doesn't have any like skills in it or anything, but basically do what he can to hamper and slow down the army.
Okay, so roll me a survival check.
I'm gonna put Milo in front of me so I make sure he doesn't fall off.
Okay. It's probably because of the weather. So you tie like Milo to the front of your.
It's like a papoose.
Okay, sure.
Baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
All
That,
right.
or it's like Chewbacca with like C-3PO on his back when he's all like, parts.
Put my head on the right way.
That
All
way
right, so
he can still cast when he's on my back. I like it.
so you guys get progress further up, and the weather starts getting progressively worse. And Milo, you can still feel the charged feeling that this storm is not natural. Someone is actively fueling the storm with their magics, to hinder you guys to what purpose you're not 100% sure, but it's fairly obvious to guess. Where are the grids? Why am I not seeing the grids? Okay, so eventually you guys get to, I would say, probably like, you get to, you break above the storm. It comes as a surprise to you, walking out the top of this storm. One moment you're in, blinding hailstorm, being pelted, like, and Brophy, it's not the most comfortable ride, riding on the arm or shoulders of one of these steam dragoons. It is warm. You're not suffering from like the blistering storm, the chilling effect of the storm, because the fact that the steam dragoons operate off steam power, and by that very fact that they're usually quite warm. However, your ears are ringing because it's just a constant cacophony of the worst kind of death metal, of hailstones by the hundreds of thousands bouncing off a giant metal tin can.
I'm going to then take out one of my rations, pull some bread out, and shove it into my ears.
Okay. I'd like for everyone else to roll me another Constitution saving throw to see how you fare through the second half.
Can't be worse.
Oh,
Magic bread.
Really?
Just one better.
higher.
Might as well a +1.
You know what was funny? I gave you advantage for that roll, but you rolled a 5. So, Obadiah, you're not sure if it's whether because you're carrying someone else, but yeah, the second half of this, because the wind has picked up and the temperature has dropped to below freezing.
I know the issue is I didn't have any coffee this morning.
Yeah, by the time you breach the top of the storm, you are, to a lack of a better word, knackered. You also suffer. Milo, you are now at 2 points of exhaustion.
All right. And I'm going to take a pot from like my, like my gear and put it on my head.
No, so it comes as, so a few moments after you do that, you're all shocked when you stumble out of the top of the storm to clear skies. And for a moment, your ears ring, and you stand there kind of in shock as you turn behind you and you see the tops of the roiling storm. The storm seems to be staying in place. It's not rising to meet you guys. And you look on further ahead, and ahead of you can see about 3 islands ahead of you, up at a 45-degree angle, is a giant disc-like island, measuring probably 600 or 700 feet in diameter, in the center of which is a large dome-like structure. I can only describe it in the same sense that it probably has an architectural style like a Greco-Roman dome,
Parthenon.
like the Parthenon. Yes, precisely so. Um, the dome itself is made out of some sort of white rose-like stone that you've never seen before. There is no one in sight at the dome. I'm saying this is probably like a mile away. However, you can clearly see, and I'll actually shift you to this page, and I'll make additional drawings. So bottom of the storm, top of the storm. The island that you guys have just emerged from has like a little peak. Maybe I should. All right, and then there's a rocky. There's some sort of like almost like a drawbridge. I should say, lowered down towards you guys from another island further up. The island has a small hillock. And then there's the summit island, which I'll just draw simply like so. And then there's a gap missing in between, in the shape of where you would expect a chain island to be, but it's nowhere in sight. And I'll draw the little drawbridge. Obviously, this isn't to scale, obviously.
I don't know. It seems pretty legit to me.
There is not 100-foot drawbridge lowered down from one island to another. And you can clearly see, as you climb onto the drawbridge, and the drawbridge is wide. It's wide enough for the steam dragoons to cross the breast. As you crest the top of this bridge, you can clearly see, standing at the other side of this island, about, I'd say, 100 feet away, probably less than that, probably like 80 feet. It's quite a small island. Is a Goliath. Behind this Goliath, you can see where the stonework that you saw the prisoners being worked on was headed towards, because behind him stands an unfinished bridge of impossible construction. It looks like, for lack of a better word, or lack of a better description, it looks like a boat's plank or a diving board made out of stone. Not only made out of stone, made out of different slabs of stone, somehow constructed together, compiled together to form essentially what is a staircase ramp that seems to defy the very laws of physics, because you would expect this thing to crumple down and fall into the maelstrom beneath. It is, however, incomplete. It's only about halfway, if a little bit over halfway. In front of this bridge stands a single Goliath. I think, Milo, you are the only one who recognizes him on the site. He was one of the Goliaths that was standing on that floating island, throwing fireballs down at you guys.
Oh, when I think the bird flew up and saw him?
Yes, that's right, when you were looking through the bird's eyes. He currently has his back turned to you guys. Would everyone who would like to roll me an insight check?
I'd like to take a shot.
Okay. Roll me a shot.
Oh, watch out, I got disadvantage on that, just to be fair. So you know.
Oh, wow. Let me check what his AC is. I'm pretty sure it's not 24. You bring up your rifle to shoot, and he begins to say something in giant over his shoulder, and then you shoot him, and he cries out and stumbles forwards.
What did he say?
He begins to say, I've been expecting, and then he gets shot.
I don't think
He began his bad guy monologue, and then he got shot. Instead of telling you guys to roll initiative, he stumbles backwards. He stumbles forwards and then turns, and then holds up a hand and says, "Wait, wait!" in giant. Which only Thalia understands.
Yeah, so Thalia actually would probably yell, "Wait, wait!"
He begins to say, "If you shoot me, and then by this time you would have had time to reload to fire another shot. So do you wish to continue?"
I'm loading, but I look over at Thalia, and she's yelling, "Wait!" So I'll wait, but I won't. I'll keep my shot aimed.
So she's
Milo,
repeating verbatim. Whatever he says, she's saying in common.
Okay.
Milo,
what were you doing?
Oh, turn me around, you idiot! I can't see.
I'll take my one free hand, and I kind of undo the knot that is attaching him to me, so he can plop to the ground and turn around.
He stands back up, clutching his side, with his bleeding side of one of his arms, and with his other arm outstretched in like a stop motion. And he says, "You can kill me if you wish, but if you do, you will never reach the summit before my brethren arrive." And he clutches his hand, and you see one of the stone slabs behind him that forms the bridge curl itself around and pull itself from the formation of the bridge. So the very tip of it. And it curls itself into a humanoid form. And one of the slabs that it was holding slips from its grasp and falls down into the storm beneath, shortening the bridge by about 5 feet. And as you gaze over, you realize that this bridge must be formed from a number of stone elementals, essentially holding the bridge together in this unnatural form.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a bridge of stone elementals.
Yeah. And then he says to you, Thalia, seeing how you're the one who seems to understand what he's saying, he says, "It seems we're at a bit of an impasse, if you could call it that."
She looks to the others in like, well, what am I supposed to say to him now?
Ask him what he wants.
While you guys having this back and forth, he continues speaking. He says, "I commend you for your zeal in getting past my underlings so far. You've interrupted our build too early. The bridge is not complete. says, "This does not matter, however. If you wish to get to the summit in any time soon, the last chain isn't due to arrive for at least another 8 hours. You could see it if the storm was not here." And he gestures down below to deep down in the storm. "The island is rising, but the army, my army, will be here before then." And he says, "We need not be enemies." He says, I don't care about your empress or your 10 men," and he points towards the steam dragoons. "I don't care about the summit or the temple. The only thing that I seek is a crown hidden," and he points up towards the dome-like structure that's on this island, "hidden away by your gods." And he says, "Stolen from my people, our rightful inheritance. Give it back, and you can do whatever you want at the summit. You can have the summit. You can have this forsaken crater."
What does this crown mean? What is it?
He says, "It is a piece of divinity. It harkens back to the time when my people roamed all the wilds of this plain." And he says, "It does not belong to you. It does not belong to anyone. It certainly does not belong to be locked away, shelved, hidden from the world."
Can I insight him? I mean, I don't speak his language, but
Sure. Roll me an insight.
feeling there's something he isn't telling us.
Brophy, roll me an investigation check.
Everybody still here?
Yep.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm whispering. Yeah. So, Brophy, you don't really find any mechanism or anything to raise or lower the drawbridge. You get the feeling from your investigation check that it was simply a large piece of semi-reticulated, like a drawbridge built on this island, and then someone anchored it to on one side of it, and then just like pushed it up and over to fall down onto the other island to form the bridge. So it was never intended to be drawn back.
I'm gonna look behind us to see if there's anyone approaching us untrustworthy.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
I love perception checks, so they're at advantage.
And you know what? Brophy's feeling kind of full of himself because he did just recently tackle an Earth Elemental. He's going to kind of squat down and give a few experimental hefts and see if he can budge this drawbridge, maybe push it off.
Okay.
Of course, I know.
Roll me a strength athletics check.
Well, which one? Strength or athletics?
Athletics. Athletics based on strength.
I know out of character, there's no way he could probably do this,
Yes.
but
You managed to heave and pull and pry a piece of essentially 2x4 from from this bridge with nothing but the sheer strength of your muscles. So while this is going on, you guys see Brophy flapping about at the bridge, where he reaches down and just hauls and pulls until one of the pieces of the bridge, just a piece of board, just tears loose.
I'll just kind of look at it, shrug, and like toss it over my shoulder and just keep at it. I mean, there's nothing else for him to do right now.
Obi, you don't. Your heightened your. Let me read the feat. The specific wording of the feat.
Observer.
Shit. Is it in the compendium?
Maybe. Hold on.
No, it's not.
What do I have? But because it was passive, you decided not to do the passive and just gave me advantage on.
Right. Okay. Something does catch your attention. So the island that you're standing on has a small hillock in the center. Yes. So what catches your attention is towards the left-hand side of the island, there is a small, like a bluff. It's only 2 or 3 feet high. It's like waist height. But you hear sounds of like pebbles or stones shifting and falling from the bluff, and you turn and look in that direction, but you don't see anyone.
I'll say out loud without taking my aim off the one major giant, the Goliath. Hey, bro, if you go check that out, there might be something fun for you.
If I manage to pull anything else out, I'm gonna like chuck it in that direction.
Okay, so it's about 40 feet away. You can throw it at disadvantage. Roll me an improvised plank attack at disadvantage.
Ugh.
Yeah, so you hurl your plank in that direction. There is no there you don't hit anyone, but you do startle someone. Momentarily, standing atop the bluff, you see a scrawnier and more wiry-looking Goliath appear with a startled expression, and he flicks his hands and mutters in a couple of words, and he vanishes again. From ahead of you with his rifle. I assume you're readying your action, right? You're prepared in case he does anything dodgy.
Yeah.
So actually, we're not going to go in initiative order, just because there isn't really much purpose. But if you would like to roll me initiative, just to see if he gets to drop on you or you get to drop on him, like which one of your actions go first?
Well, let's see. I don't have a token, so I'll just roll a d20 plus 6.
Yeah. So yeah, your action definitely goes off first. So you see the guy that you shot throw his hand forwards, and the bridge behind him comes apart as a bunch of stone elementals uncurl from their planked form and hurl boulders at hurl slabs of stone at in your guys' general direction before, because of the disintegration of the bridge, most of them fall into the abyss. However, before this happens, a split second before this happens, you manage to get your shot off.
I'm gonna use a grit.
Okay. Yep, that definitely hits. And he cries out as you shoot him solidly in the chest. And a bunch of boulders fly in your direction. Can everyone roll me a 1d6?
Well, Milo, at least you're not alone in this one.
I have disadvantage on that roll because I'm exhausted.
No, it's simply a 1d6.
I know, I'm just kidding.
He just assumes he has disadvantage on all rolls.
So Thalia and Obadiah, you do not get hit. Like, no rocks come anywhere near you. However, I'm just trying to look up the damage code for this attack. That's not the right thing. Give me a minute.
We actually get healed by it.
These are the magical healing stones of Sarenrae.
All right. No, never mind. I'll say because it's a. Unfortunately, Thalia. Before you managed to say any of that, someone threw a plank.
We're very great investigators. I knew he was full of shit, and I sent the little one to chuck a plank.
This one is aimed at Milo. This one is aimed at Brophy. Does a 17 hit you, Milo, and does a 24 hit you, Brophy?
Only
Hits me.
barely. And by barely, I mean it barely misses nothing. That's so horrible.
So, this isn't a single rock. This is a combination of a number of slabs slamming into you. Milo, you suffer 22 bludgeoning damage. Brophy, you suffer 14. And the momentary response from this violence kicking off, there is no second round, which is why I'm not making you guys roll initiative, because between combination of the steam dragoons, Calliopes, the rifleman, and the sharpie, this guy gets blown apart. Like, there's just a massive eruption of gunfire, and he literally does the bullet dance and then falls backwards in pieces into the abyss.
What about we don't know where the invisible guy is?
No, you do not know where the invisible guy is. You could roll me another perception check if you wish.
I would wish.
You pick up another stone slab and throw it in the direction where you last saw the invisible guy?
Yeah, I'm picking up one of the stone slabs that hit me, and I'm just chucking it.
I'm looking for the telltale shimmer of the predator, and I'm gonna fire at it.
Okay. You catch a momentary shift of shadows. I'm going to say you can make an attack, but it will be at disadvantage.
And I'm not gonna use a revolve. I'm just going to do one of these. So
Okay.
13.
That is a miss. You fire and don't hit anything. In response to this, everyone else can do something. By the way, in fact, I'm going to go. I'm going to throw up the turn order, but I'm just going to have 2 turns. One is your turn. One is his turn. Okay.
I just took our turn.
Yeah. Give me a second while I throw out 2 tokens just to represent. Sure. We'll use Ralphie as one of them.
Okay.
And then we'll use. I know what to use. We'll use this as the other one for no reason whatsoever. None at all. Don't read anything into this.
It's a predator.
He's actually a dragon in disguise.
Alright. And what we'll do is we will have each of you roll initiative, and then I will simply average your result. How is this for a weird initiative?
I have no token. I can't roll initiative.
Oh, never mind. Then just roll a d20.
My initiative is 25.
Nice. So I'll say you go before him. So all of you have a. You saw Obadiah fire somewhere in one general direction, but he didn't seem to hit anything.
I would have liked to use my bonus action if I had one to reload.
Yeah, sure. This isn't really like technically a combat because it's like 1 versus like 4, 12, 15. 1 versus like almost 20.
An army.
Yeah. You know what? We will go in turn order, just so that we have a clear progression of who's taking what action. Huh? Your token isn't linked. Oh yeah, we have had this problem before. Don't worry about the positioning of your tokens. It doesn't really matter in this situation. You guys can update your results to what you had previously. I'll do so for Milo, I guess, since his sheet always takes quite a bit to load.
Give me 1 second. Sorry. You want me to roll initiative again?
No,
No,
it's
you're
fine.
okay.
And Obi, I'll do so for you as well. So yeah, Thalia, what's your reaction?
I think she's still in shock. Here she was trying to negotiate, and then suddenly everything just went to hell.
Yep.
He was full of shit.
Doesn't matter because she was like looking for. She asked you guys what she should say. Nobody answered, so she was going on her own.
Because I saw this invisible buddy of his.
Invisible buddy threw a plank. Someone appeared. Um, he reacted from you throwing a plank at his companion.
And he got executed.
Throwing a bunch of rocks at you. The soldiers responded by this act of aggression by following Obadiah's example and firing at this guy. This guy blew apart.
It was probably a
Guess
valid
where we are.
offer, and everything just went to hell.
Yep. Milo, what's your reaction?
I'm going to cast my mage armor on myself to start with.
Okay.
And hide behind Obi. Not actually hide because I don't have that much movement, but just move behind him.
Okay, so we'll say, what direction are you moving? Are you moving towards where Obi fired, or are you moving away?
Away, like literally kind of positioning Obi between myself and as I cast my spell and think about what to do
So
next.
we'll say for argument's sake that towards the top is closer to the source where you guys fired, where Obadiah fired, where you last saw the person. I say Brophy is probably a little bit closer because he went to throw the plank. So you move away.
Yeah, just probably a few feet. I actually landed right behind Obi when he shook me off, so I'm just maybe a foot over.
All right.
Are you still wearing the pot on your head?
Yep, I'm gonna take it off yet.
So oh man, he's used quite a few spells as well. He will. No, he's already used that spell slot. Man, he's pretty low as well. He shouts something in giant, and it is
Garp.
yeah, you understand what he shouts. So he shouts. At first, it's a cry of anguish, like no, without the question mark. In giant, all of you understand like the tonal expression of someone crying out in denial and shock.
Is it like Vader when he finds out Padme's dead? No.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. The cheesiest, dumbest no you can think of. And then he enraged, he shouts, "You murderers!" And then he's going to cast. He cannot because it's a concentration spell. Woo! So he does not cast that. Fuck. He is going to cast lightning bolt at Obadiah. So I would like for you to make me a dex saving throw. Yes, that's right. And his DC is, I believe it's 14. Let me look it up. Damn it, these sheets have gone to shit. No, it's 15. So yeah, so you fail the dex save as lightning erupts from near where you shot, from mid space. You don't see him; he doesn't appear. But you see the lightning bolt arc out from a location. Several soldiers react to take pop shots in that direction at disadvantage. Wow.
Oh shit.
Oh, sorry, no, that's keep one. All of them missed. Well, actually, no, the last one hit. What's his constitution score? I'll just roll it and add it on. Yeah, so he's fine. So he doesn't reappear. You do see, you do hear a cry of pain. However, Obadiah,
Yeah, I hate to ask.
are you resistant towards the lightning?
I mean, I think I have rubber boots on because I got electrocuted before.
I don't think that counts.
But that's really about it.
Unfortunately for you, and Milo, did you say you were hiding behind Obadiah?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
within
God.
5 feet of him anyway.
With
Yeah,
metal on his head.
unfortunately, I think you're going to have to make a deck save as well because it's in a 5 foot wide blast and 100 foot long. It's a line.
In this version, does metal give advantage or something?
No, I don't think it does.
Well, I don't think it mattered anyways. He rolled a 5. Oh,
So you
shit.
both take 48 lightning damage.
Man, I'm down.
By 2 flipping points.
Okay.
By
So-
6 points.
Brophy, what is your reaction? You're last up in the turn order.
Okay, I just saw that happen, so I'm immediately going to drop the rock, rage, run up to where I saw the lightning from, and just start swinging my hammer.
Okay. Roll me your attacks at disadvantage.
I'm going to reckless attack, so it's straight negated.
Okay. I'm gonna borrow a. Actually, you know what? I'll give you a flat roll. Nice. Yeah, your second one definitely hits. So your second one clips something. You're not entirely sure what it clipped because whatever it clipped was invisible. Oh. But whatever you clip stays invisible. And you hear another cry of pain as you clip something. Actually, no, wait. Uh, Thalia, you hear someone snarl in Goliath as he goes to swing his second swing, and someone snarls out, "You wait your turn, midget." And something about the snarling tone, although you don't understand the language, Brophy, makes you fumble the hold of your warhammer slightly, and your what you thought connected ends up not empowering that much damage. You still connected with something.
They have
But,
a bard.
The impact isn't as quite as devastating as you thought it would. It is now the rest of the guy's turn. No, they've already fired their shots. Never mind. The rest of the soldiers who have not fired shots are kind of like spread out more in an orderly skirmish line, spreading themselves out wide, almost as if they've experienced fighting mages before, and they're avoiding clumping up and standing in straight lines. But none of them fire immediately without knowing exactly where to shoot and what they're shooting at, and especially with Brophy in the vicinity, swinging madly away at midair with his warhammer. Obadiah, death saving throw.
Ooh.
Oh. Remember, by the way, those of you who have inspiration, you can use it on death saving throws.
I don't know if I do. I don't see it marked anywhere, so.
I know a couple of you have some banked up. Thalia, what are you doing?
Thalia, I think, is actually, she sees that, Obi and Milo are both down. She'll probably go heal God, should probably heal Milo first, because this guy, she can't see him. She doesn't know where he's at, so.
Okay.
I like to think down my entire right arm and shoulder is like, you know, when people get hit by electricity and they have this like giant scar for the rest of their life.
Oh, that's nasty.
He's just going to have that the rest of his life.
All right, so Milo, you gasp awake as Thalia reaches out and places her hand somewhere. I'm not going to presume.
His arm.
Sure. And a flare of light cascades through your body, and you feel the worst of your injuries close up and heal. And you snap awake. It is now your turn, unless you have something else you want to do, Thalia.
No.
And yes, before when you heard him snarl that sentence calling Brophy a tiny midget, not only a midget but also tiny, which is a double insult, you could feel that the words were laced with magic.
You know what? Thalia will actually tell Brophy, he called you a tiny midget!
Milo, you are prone, but you are conscious.
And I just forgot that I could have done something. So I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to stand up from prone, move just to the side of Obi, who's laying on the, well, he's laying on the ground. I guess I don't need to.
You are literally right beside him.
And I always, I always know it would end like this. And then, in the direction that the fireball came, or excuse me, the lightning bolt came, I'm going to do my best to direct this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. He doesn't have that much dex. I think you'd probably... Would you throw it in such a way that Brophy would be... Oh, actually, no. If I'm just going to tell you that if you throw it in such a way that you won't catch Brophy, there is a chance that he won't be in the blast. I'm giving you a devil's bargain.
Yeah, I would
if you
try
throw it to include Brophy, then you'll definitely catch him in the blast.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to make it in such a way that it will.
I'm giving you a devil's bargain. If you throw it in such a way that you would not hit Brophy, there's also a chance you won't hit the Goliath. But if you throw it in such a way that you were to catch Brophy in the blast, then you will definitely catch the Goliath in the blast, is what I'm saying. It's a devil's bargain. I let you make the choice.
And what... I don't want to meta this, but like... Do I... I definitely want to hit this thing. He's doing it out of anger, and he's standing up. He doesn't want to hit his companion, but he wants to hit this thing more.
Okay, I'll let you roll. On a 1d4, on a 1, you'll miss him. But on a 2, 3, and 4, you will hit him.
Oh, okay. I was going to use inspiration. I guess I can't for this type of roll. Yay.
So you throw your fireball, there's an eruption. You throw it in such a way as to not catch the Brophy in the blood. But there is no audible or visible reaction to your blast. It doesn't have to seem to have caught anything. It's conflagration. Fancy words.
All right.
I mean, Brophy was practically volunteering just that bit.
Huh.
I'd have hit him.
You're unconscious.
All right. I guess that's it.
On his turn, shit, that's also a concentration spell.
Ha.
Why is everything concentration spell?
Yeah, this edition kind of screwed over casters. Most of their good stuff is concentration. I mean, a lot of the things that they changed to concentration make sense, but still. I think they were trying to tone down how OP casters get at higher levels.
That's not the spell that I was looking for. That's way too low level. Yeah, this is the spell that I was looking for. So, you hear him shout some words. I was going to say something, but I changed my mind. I'm not going to say it because I'm not that kind of person. This is being recorded. So you see him shout words. No, you hear him shout words rather, and from nearby you. Actually, first things first, Brophy, you detect movement near you as this person goes to run away from you. I'm not entirely certain if you can make attack of opportunity against people who are invisible, because I actually thought you can, but I think someone brought it up to me that like it actually says in the attacks of opportunity that you can only make attacks of opportunity against creatures that you can see. So being blind, them being invisible.
No, I think he can. It's just he has a disadvantage.
Yeah, see? Page 195 on the player's handbook. In a fight, everyone is constantly watching for enemies to drop their guard. You can rarely move heedlessly past your enemy or your foes without putting yourself in danger. Doing so provokes an opportunity attack. You can make an opportunity attack when a hostile creature that you can see moves out of your reach. To make the opportunity attack, you use your reaction to make a melee attack against the provoking creature. So yeah, you can't see him.
I don't have any like blind fight or anything, so
Yeah. So yeah, but you do feel him move from your immediate melee range, and he from nearby you, like 10 feet away, 3 bolts of fire shoot out. One towards Milo, and this is, let me check his modifier. Oh Jesus, it's that high? Does a 17 hit you, Milo?
Is Milo counterspelling that?
Yep. I'm attempting to.
Okay.
But 17 would hit.
You can attempt to interrupt the creature in the process of casting a spell. You don't have to see it. It's perfectly fine. So go ahead and roll me. Actually, let me check the level of the spell.
Yeah, hopefully it's 3 or less.
Yes, so you counterspell his spell. You reach out and you feel the magical energies coalescing, this fiery evocation magic that you recognize as a spell, Scorching Ray, and you just tear it asunder, and the spell fizzles and pops in his hand, and you hear him swear. You hear him swear at you.
Nice.
You don't know what it is, but it's giant. But you know he's not happy.
He swears at you in giant. Thalia, you can understand him swearing. He calls Milo a pointed-eared, pointed-nosed meddler.
I'll repeat that verbatim.
Oh, Milo just, it's not his turn. But he mutters under his breath.
I'd like for you to make a wisdom saving throw.
To me, wisdom saving throw?
Yes. So yes, you feel these hurtful words, even though you can't understand it, although Thaler translated for you. And you feel that these words were laced with vicious psychic energy meant to harm your very psyche and your very persona. But you manage to gather your wits, your will about you, and ignore these for lack of a better term, this magic troll.
I like that how it was interpreted for me, and that's how like I knew. Does it is
Now, see, with me translating, I don't think that would work. Because he says it, and then I translate, but the magic's already passed at that
he
point.
doesn't actually need to understand the word. That's how vicious mockery works.
it's the tone and the body language. That's 80% of communication.
All right. So on his turn, the soldiers had spread out a bit, as well as Pippin. One of the steam dragoons opens up with his Calliope. I think it's not actually Pippin this time. It's probably Cheeky. Opens up his Calliope at disadvantage. I am going to roll a d4 as well, because this is an attack roll. This is a save. Yeah, so I'm gonna make him make a save. His save isn't that good. But yeah, he manages to duck out of the way of most of this blast, this fusillade that's aimed in his direction. Still taking some damage. In fact, he's actually pretty low. Oh shit, I shouldn't tell you guys that.
Raffle.
Actually, I'll roll some more attacks. Because several of the riflemen fire shots in his direction as well. Disadvantage, Martini rifle. Oh wow, none of them managed to hit. So yeah, this shooting an invisible target, and I think one of the Sharpies takes a shot as well. Which is the reason why you don't fight 1 against 20. Because it's almost guaranteed loss. No, he missed as well, even without disadvantage. But he still has to make a concentration save. So yeah, after getting clipped by the Calliope from Sergeant Cheeky's, Lance Corporal Cheeky's Steam Dragoon, the guy spins sideways as he appears, and again, this is a scrawny, lanky looking Goliath. And without further ado, the rest of now that they know what they're shooting at, the rest of the riflemen open up, and this guy just gets ripped apart as he gets shot over a dozen times in the space of a few seconds. It is, however, Brophy and Obadiah's turn if you wish to immediately react. And then I'm just going to remove the turn.
Brophy's just gonna walk, well, I guess jog over and just start turning him into paste.
It's not hard. He's already thoroughly perforated. It's not hard to reduce him to paste. Obadiah, in the meantime,
I'm just bleeding out.
Bleeding out, pretty bad. Thalia, how do you respond?
Obi's bleeding out?
Yeah, he's at 2 failed death saves. He's 1 failed death save away from... He's 6 seconds away from potentially bleeding out.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, she'll go for him then.
Okay.
Booger.
So you reawaken to, twitching muscles, the smell of burnt air, and the profusive invasion of ozone in your nostrils.
And just my arm and shoulder are throbbing.
And you glance over towards the direction where the lightning bolt came from, and there's a insane psycho halfling wailing at pizza paste with a big hammer. I like to imagine that he's swinging overhead and coming down, and each time he does so, his feet clear the ground.
It's kind of like Itchy and Scratchy.
Well, I mean, the hammer is bigger than me.
I'm glad you guys got it. I'm spitting up blood.
And the soldiers momentarily mill about, searching for additional invisible enemies. They actually come up with a. It's evidently that they have certain techniques for doing this. When it comes to tactics and such, they get out ropes and they hold a rope between them. And then they kind of like fan out in like a skirmish line, and they search the entire place as you guys regather yourselves. And Brophy probably eventually comes out of his rage after a minute.
Yeah, technically after one round, if I don't hit anything living, I drop out. So
right, yeah.
I wail at it for 6 seconds, and then I drop exhausted.
Yeah, and then eventually Pippin comes back to you lot and says, is everyone all right? I saw you catch the brunt of that blast.
Yeah, that was unpleasant.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you should thank your healer here, and he gestures towards Thalia. I think she saved your lives.
She's good at that.
Again.
Thalia will remark, we really need to get another healer. I mean, love Arthur and all, but this is not supposed to be my main role.
I don't know. It's all magic. Speaking of magic, can you guys start a fire?
Yeah, Brophy's gonna find Pippin and like crawl onto his back and start a short rest.
And
you mean a break? Because a short rest takes 8 hours.
Oh, hey, question, Kev.
Uh-huh.
How far is the gap now between the two islands?
It is over 500 feet. It is the gap is the space of what potentially is a small to medium-ish island.
Okay. So, and what's the height difference between the two islands?
About 200 feet.
Okay.
Are you going to dimension door?
I got it.
So the only one that you can see, Milo. Wait, I should whisper this.
I'm taking a break. I can use up to my con and hit die, right?
Now, the question is who to take with me, because if I teleport myself, I'm gonna fall and kill myself.
Well, you can't take me because I'm bigger than you.
No, I can.
As long as it's not a large creature. So the only things that she can't take are the steam dragoons.
Isn't a long rest 8 hours?
No, it's a long rest is 24, I believe.
Yes, no. A long rest is 24 hours uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different for this campaign. That's how the resting works.
It's not. I'm not talking about 24 hours of sleep, but just like 24 hours of
rest,
of normal activity within a secured area where you're not like in fear for your life.
But what was it for a break? Can I roll any hit die?
If we bring up the campaign
on,
healing and resting mechanic, it says that you can, with the single use of a unit of water, which I don't think we're actually even tracking in a hero's kit, you can roll a number up to equal to your Constitution modifier.
Fantastic. Because I was having them start the fire because I was going to brew coffee.
Yeah, so fresh coffee and a healer's kit charge.
Yeah. So I can roll 2 hit die. Fantastic.
So while you guys are taking an hour to take a break, Pippin eventually comes back to you after gazing up, and he says, "Now it's hard to see through the storm, but Cheeky," and she gestures over towards Cheeks, who's back at where the bridge was, gazing down, thinks that the other island will be here. It's coming out of the maelstrom and drifting upwards at quite a rate, actually. It should be here within the next 4 to 6 hours. Now, I can't quite tell when we last saw the army how fast it was moving, but there's a significant chance that they might be here within 4 to 6 hours. And he gestures around you guys and says, "This isn't the most defensible of locations.
No.
What do you suggest we do?"
So Thalia's going to mention she can do the dimension door, but her problem is that if she teleports herself, she's going to die.
Okay, so what do you need? Pippin asks you.
Ideally, Milo's squirrel suit so I can teleport up and then glide over to the next island and create a rope so we can shimmy across.
He turns back and looks and says, "Well, I suppose we have enough rope to reach across the intervening distance."
Oh, no. She goes, me and Milo, or me and Obi, we probably do have way more than enough rope.
But
Not a great deal of it.
I'm not a mage, I'm not a wizard, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this dimension door, it's like a gateway, right?
More like a blink, I guess you'd describe it.
How would you get the rope back from up there down to here?
Well, we anchor it here. I can carry something with me, so it doesn't have to.
Well, what we could do is...
So I'm going to tell you this as the DM, that a dimension door works kind of like a portal gun.
Yeah.
So if you were to anchor a rope from this end, jump through the dimension door holding the rope, when the dimension door closes, it would cut your rope in half.
Well, if we could dimension door to the first island, and then how it was, 500 feet?
You guys are about here. You guys are here on this island at the moment. Let me draw a little...
We are where Thalia's at.
Yeah.
Well,
if you want to get to here.
If we left the rope with them and had the steam dragoon chuck it, like with this grappling hook, it's probably better of them getting it to us than us getting it to them.
Pippin laughs and he says, "Well, I'm get a pretty good throwing arm in these things. I'm not sure if I can throw a grappling hook.
Yeah, you can. No, don't throw yourself short.
Well, if you miss, you miss. You just have to roll it back up and try again.
Or we could go up here, and then you could get the squirrel suit on and sail back down there with the rope.
Or I teleport. Well, the thing is somebody has to go with me because I can't fly or float.
How heavy is a grappling hook? Anybody know?
It's like a pound.
I've got my Find Familiar. I could cast it into a hawk to carry that over there. Then we could dimension door over there, and then attach the grappling hook wherever it needs to go. But we also got the rope, so I don't know how much if we'd be able to haul all that rope as well.
A 500-foot rope would be quite heavy.
Yeah.
More than a familiar could carry.
Yeah, and I don't have anything heavier or like bigger than that. The owl and there's other things, but they're all things that do not, like a horse, or excuse me, some other things that just aren't that big, but they don't fly.
All right. It is at this point that Pippin gestures for a moment, as if and he says, "Sorry, sending stone is going off," and he steps aside for one moment, and then a moment later he comes back. And let me think about the exact wording of this message.
What would we like on our tombstones?
Well, the person who made out the best is Marmaduke. He moved into the rich people house.
Here, did you see the message I typed from him at the start of the game?
And
Meanwhile, as we're doing all this, he's on his back, sleeping, paws in the air, one leg twitching as he dreams of chasing something.
he's probably getting scratched by one of those elven guards. He's stuffed to venison pie. I want to switch places with Marmaduke.
Damn it, where the fuck did I throw my notes? This is the problem when you reorganize, even though, despite the fact that beforehand your notes was like an atrocious mess because it was all over the place, but you knew where that atrocious mess was, and then when you reorganize, suddenly you can't find it.
It's chaotic. What is it? It's organized chaos.
Yeah. Fuck, where did I throw my notes? Okay, I can't find my notes, so I'm just going to summarize. Essentially, the sending stone tells is the captain of the airship, the Talon that you guys came on, informing Milo that the storm is inhibiting their ability to harass the oncoming army, and that they've made a couple of passes with limited success. But the captain and the mage agrees that if you were capable, if you or this, if Pippin or the Sharpies or you four were capable of finding the Magister, the mage, the wizard in the army group, and were able to take him out from afar and disrupt the storm, or conversely, just get rid of the storm. The captain is fairly confident that they can keep that army tied up for an additional few hours, enough to buy you enough time for the bridge, the stepping stones to complete. But obviously that would require some of you, if not all of you, to go back down towards the direction of the army, going the opposite direction.
I'll look at them and say, I'm agreeable for anything, and I'll hand Pippin some coffee.
And Pippin says to you, quite solemnly and quite seriously, if it is only a few hours that you need, me and the lads can always buy you that time. We'll head back down and we'll start making a hit and run, attacking runs just to harass them, to get them to march cautiously and take more time. If luck is on our side, it should buy you enough time for the final island to get here.
Yeah, but at that point, we would lose your guys' support in the oncoming fights.
As far as my understanding of your mission as far as I understand your mission, you simply have to secure some artifact, right?
We have to secure it until the islands start drifting again.
Is there anything about you being able to remove the artifact somewhere else and return it later, or does it
not touch it?
I don't think we're supposed to move it. I'm not sure if the Guardian would attack us or not. Because if we move it to another location and when we miss our window to bring it back, then it's in trouble for until who knows how long. But if we keep it here and guard it here until the islands start moving again, it is safe until, what, another 100 years?
The next convergence in about 20 or 30 years, yes.
Brophy looks at Thalia. Doesn't your god favor change?
Yes. But we also want to keep all these keys apart, too, so...
Do you want to make an insight check to consult? I will allow characters touched by the divine, so clerics, specifically you as well.
Isn't Milo touched as well?
Yes, he is. By actually, which one of you accepted the boon?
It was me
Milo
and
and Thalia, right? So Milo, you can actually. This probably wouldn't be insight. I will let you choose insight or religion.
I'm going to mutter to myself magic and drink a greater healing potion. I have 2, and I need a lot more.
Go back one sec.
Not that we rolled any better.
I'm exactly where I was before I got fried. I'll mark that one off my sheet.
All right. As you ask this question, as Brophy says to you, isn't your god an agent of change? It occurs to you. Well, first off, it's not your god. Your god is
Mythos.
Mythos, yes. But it's simply the lady in the manor, Lethano. She asked you in order for you to benefit from the boon, to essentially act as an advocate on her behalf, and she claimed to be an agent of change. So basically, essentially, she admitted, well, not admitted, but essentially told you that, implied that if she had a domain, her domain would be change. Intemperance, I believe, is the technical term. But as you're thinking that, like, she isn't actually my god. Like, she's not my day. I don't worship her. Both you and Milo are assailed by a series of images that flash into your mind, and you know without a doubt, and this is like Vietnam PTSD flashback. Like, you to the rest of you, they go into, like, their muscles lock and their eyes flip to the back of their heads to show all whites. But to you, you experience a series of flashes of images, complete with color, sound, smell, visceral sensations like pressure waves, and each image is a split second. It's it packs a whole bunch of content. So they go in a series. The first one shows an image of and these two images are amorphous, almost as if they're it is a real life painting, like a 3D real world painting, like the world as it is, but everything is made out of paint and it's still running, like the paint hasn't set yet. And this amorphous image is one of a Goliath in a ceremonial headdress, with one hand extended upwards into the sky, lightning arcing from his fingers upwards into the sky at the storm. The airship, the Talon, overhead, firing furious fusillades down upon a Goliath warband climbing this island chain. The second one is an image of the soldiers hiding from behind rocks, firing down at similar Goliaths who are in turn assaulting their positions. The third one, and this one is more runny than most, it's more amorphous, more foggy than most, is you see Obadiah laying prone upon a rocky bluff, sighting down his rifle and pulling the trigger. The fifth one is Pippin. You see Pippin in his Stream Dragoon exploding. His freeze frame, his armor is coming apart from the seams. There's fire erupting. It looks like he just got struck by something. It's like in mid snapshot of him, of his death. And then the sixth image is of a large circular pool, and you know instinctively that this pool is at the center of this dome that's above you. The pool itself is about 100 feet in diameter, but instead of water in this pool, when you look down, you just see as if you're looking down from a portal from a great height. And the image is momentary, and you're unable to see what's at the bottom of this height. It almost seems like something else wipes away this image before you're able to see the contents of this portal. But you see the interior of this dome, and it literally resembles I don't know if you've guys seen that dome-shaped Parthenon chamber, and I think it's in Rome, right? Or it's in Greece.
I know what you're talking about,
Basically
yeah.
a domed ceiling.
Yeah. Dome ceilings with high arched alcoves set into each of these panels that make up the dome, and you see movement in the brief hint of movement. The seventh and final image, sorry, the sixth wasn't the final image. Seventh final image is of the dome ablaze. Crumpling inwards, furious fire pouring from various holes in its infrastructure, and inside this blaze is an amorphous feminine figure, larger than life, glowing from within with an inner light, handing you, Milo / Thalia, a familiar-looking box as the temple, the summit burns behind her. And while some shape in your mind, it resembles a dragon, but you don't get a clear sight of it. Like it may not be a dragon. It may just be something that your mind is perceiving as a dragon, is furiously attacking, assailing the roof of the temple, and its furious fire is gouging holes in its ceiling and burning out the inside. And then the image flickers out, and you return to your senses. You know from without a doubt that these images were sent to you by your patron. She very rudely injected these directly into your head without your permission. And
Megathano or
secondly,
Mythos?
Lithano, your patron, not your deity. And second of which, you know that these are prophetic events. No, potentially prophetic events. They are potential future events that have not happened. Whether this serves as a warning, as a guide, as a suggestion, you cannot tell.
What was that?
What was what?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
She didn't catch the last part of what you said, so I told her.
Oh, okay. Whether or not that was a warning, a suggestion, a portent, instructions, you're unable to tell. It's just a series of images. The only thing you know about them is that they're images of an amorphous future, a future that hasn't happened yet, and may or may not happen depending on what you do.
Well, obviously I fired my gun before. But that's about it.
So, because Milo missed a lot of that, unfortunately.
Oh.
Because Milo went went away as soon as you were saying our eyes were upturned and white and flickering. He walked away.
Yeah, I apologize. My dog had to go outside, or there was going to be problems.
Pooping problems.
No worries. I missed that you were going away. So, Thalia, I think you might have to explain some of that.
So the first image was of that me and you shared was of the sky ship attacking the army. The second image, I think, was Pippin exploding.
No, Pippin and the other soldiers in battle with a number of Goliaths.
Okay, so a battle with Goliath, then Pippin exploding, then Obi shooting something on a cliff, then what was number? Hold on, let me write this down.
You're missing 5. And to be honest, I don't remember what 5 was either. I may not have actually said 5.
You said something, and that's the thing. Hold on, let me pause the recording. This will be a 2-part recording. Let me go back and find it.